Okay, I just want to give a heads up, as we go through this, you guys, if you have any questions, make sure that you raise your hand or put your questions in the chat, and then Darwin will be monitoring that as we go through. I'm going to start you right off. This is your login screen. We're doing a little bit of impromptu substitution here because at this point you may not have access to your write an offer screen. So I'm going to pop right from Crystal's. I'm using Crystal's login right now so that you guys can see what your agent pages look like. As opposed to, I'm going to switch back over into mine. And since I'm an admin, it looks a little bit different than yours, but not after you click the write an offer tab. So as you notice, you guys, you have a menu to the left-hand side of the screen, starting with your start buyer agreement, start a listing agreement, fill disclosures, write an offer, and also you can send an individual form right from your dashboard. We're going to click through to write an offer. This is where I do the quick switch. Quick is relative. Here we go. And so this is what my screen looks like. You guys will not see this, but the write an offer tab nonetheless works the same hereafter for the most part. Okay, so when you click through to write an offer, you guys, it's going to take you to create your file. If you don't get this page, this should be corrected in the next day or so, hopefully the next hour or so. They already know that it's an issue with our agent pages. And you're going to note that if you're writing an offer, you're probably working with the buyer. So you're going to click buyer representation. If you're utilizing the Utility Connect services, you can turn that on in your settings. You can check yes here, but I'm not hooked up to that as of yet. And then it gets right into your client information. I'm going to walk you through this. I'm just going to use my own name you know what? I'll fake it. I'll use my husband's name. So don't do that. Do that. And we are going to use my personal email, just fake them out here. It's if as much information as you front load, the less you'll have to fill on the back end of this. So is there a property? You can put in a property, it auto-filled here, but if I import MLS data, it's going to pull directly from the MLS, the property that you would like to write an offer on. And I've already chosen an MLS number so I can show you how that works when you're utilizing the MLS import. So it's going to automatically enter the address for me, which will auto-populate my forms from here on out. It also asks you how you would like to name the file. So if you have a special filing system, you can go by address or primary client name. And you can also go in there and you can change that too. So if I wanted to put just blank, I could do that. I'm going to go by address though. That's my filing system. And then the next pane is going to ask you if you want to use the agency disclosure or the buyer docs. We want to obviously use buyer docs. So we're going to create our file. It's going to take us from here right into the nothing's ever fast.
Stacy, I'm assuming you'll also have Century 21 in there.
Well, yes, I'm just a CB
Okay.
side of the, company. So that's all I see, as an agent, you'll only see C21 if you're C21 agent, and you'll only see P docs if you're a CB agent.
Stacy,
Great.
scroll up. You had an error in there.
Oh, thank you. Oh, this is why we are going to do this. Let's hope. There we go. See, I practiced this morning for you guys, so I wouldn't hopefully screw it up.
Hey,
One
Stacy,
down. Yep.
real quick, sorry, we missed it. What was the first button that you clicked on in order to get to the last page?
Write an offer.
Okay,
So-
so I have
so-
an agent, when she clicked that, it went just to the purchase agreement and it wasn't that fillable area that you were in.
Yeah, you probably missed that part. I said we are aware that there is an
Oh,
issue
sorry, Dick.
now. So that's why this is what the agents, I'll just go back a quick step. This is what the agents are seeing when they log in, and this is their dashboard. And the write an offer tab is over here. Then I clicked through to my own SkySlope login, which looks a little different. I just wanted the agents to get an idea of what their dashboard looks like versus going in from mine, because mine looks
Okay,
different.
thank you so much. Thanks for that
Yeah, no problem.
clarification.
No problem. So, but this part should be what you guys are seeing from here on out. So, if you guys have not been into any of the transactions to create a transaction like this, which I don't think a lot of you have been, you've got all of your forms from the buyer template, whether it's the CB or the C21 buyer template in here. In addition, you can upload documents. So simply by clicking upload a document, you can press the button and it's going to take you into your forms. I'm going to upload all of the necessary documents that I've saved, including the MLS form that I need to have initialed by my buyers, the seller's disclosure forms that I've downloaded from the MLS, and the lead-based paint disclosure form also downloaded from the MLS. And then once you click through, it uploads it. You say you're done, you'll find them at the bottom of your page, those additional documents that you added. You could add any document in here that you want to include as part of your offer. So you could upload your pre-approval, you could upload additional documents that are required by the seller. Everything's fair game here. Any questions about that, you guys? All right, I'm going to show you what it
I do
looks
have
like.
a question. I do have a
Sure.
question. At some point they asked you for two numbers, one for your office and one for your SAP. Are those numbers the same?
Those that would be in your account or user profile, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or your account information if you're on the SkySlope page, and you can change those. You can make two different numbers, so you can use a business and a personal, or you can have them exactly the same.
So it's not my state ID number then that I'm putting in for my ID
You don't.
number?
Oh, for ID number, you do not. It's not required. It's not a required field. It's my understanding.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so you guys, to create a file, I'm going to go through, and I've already signed an exclusive buyer's agency, and if I had a real transaction going with that buyer, I could drag that in here also. All of our required forms for our checklist, I'm going to include in my template for signing. And I'm going to fill and send. That's going to take me through to all of my fillable forms, you guys. So the one thing right now that we're not getting fed through is MLS numbers are not feeding through, and also your tax identification number. Just so you know, you're going to have to copy and paste that from your MLS ticket. Your since you were not the listing agent on this, assuming that you're not, you're gonna, click down to pendings, fill out that form. I'm not going to take the time to do that for you, or, you guys know how to do this. You can click right through to every form. Now, I do want to note here that's very quick. Sorry. If you look here, your tax identification number is blank in this form also, as well as it's not being pulled directly from the MLS. Neither are items that are included. So you just want to walk through this purchase agreement just like you would in Remind or Transaction Desk. Make sure that all of the information is filled out to the best of your ability. Everything's clickable, everything's fillable. So just an FYI. I'm not gonna take you through filling out the actual forms, but I will take you to the next step where we prepare signatures. This is gonna create an envelope for all of your documents to sit in and to send to your buyers in this case to sign. So you can specify on these needs to sign, receives a copy, or no action. So a lot of times you'll see that you are, just to clarify, Brad was the only purchaser that I put in here. You could add another purchaser. I'm the agent. I'm the seller's agent. If you wanted to include them in this to receive a copy, you could do that if you'd like to. When you press next, it takes you into your DigiSign. This is where you map your signatures. It does also have the ability, you guys, to fill in text fields. I'll use a couple of examples just so you can see how easy it is. Let's go down to so this is me. I'm the buyer's agent. And I want to fill in this text field here for loan officer, let's say. Gonna click right over here in the text box. Very easy. If I want to put in a date, the date and signature lines, that's not going to be on that form, but you'll see that these are mapped, your purchase agreement, your disclosures, your affiliate forms, everything is pre-mapped for you, but that means that every space is pre-mapped for you. So when you scroll through your purchase agreement, you're going to see that every line has an initial. You want to choose which ones you want to use, because obviously sometimes these are options. So you want to delete form or pre-mapped initials and signatures that are not needed. So you can simply click on them and delete them for your pre-mapped initials and signature lines. As you
Stacy, here's
scroll
a
down,
quick question. How many
Sure.
signers will it allow on?
as many as you need.
There we go.
Yep. It may not just, and I haven't tested that. I know that you can add them in the create your file. How they show up on here as far as mapping, I haven't tested that. But I'm gonna now. That's a great idea. Just to see where
Hey,
they put
Stacy,
additional. Yep.
just for clarification, when you're signing, it's open. You don't have to wait for one individual to sign, correct?
You can tell it that you want to, but no, not at this point. You do
Okay.
not have to, say first, second, or third, or wait for the next one.
Thank you.
So we're just gonna go all you can also use a checkbox. So if you want a checkbox, and you want them to actually check by default or read only, you can specify. That, we're gonna delete that, just so you know, because that is a buyer's spot to check that they are okay with that, okay? If I wanted to just go ahead and check it and fill in who we are using, you can do that just on your behalf too. This is another one, you guys, I used the APHW home warranty form that signatures in both places. So make sure you remove whichever one you're not using. If they're purchasing a home warranty or asking for a home warranty to be included, remember you need to fill all the start information in. And then, like I said, you're going to want to delete the signature line that you're not using. So I'll go ahead and delete that because he's waving. And so that's the last form.
Stacy, question in regards to handling a trustee, or I think also if it's a company name.
Yes. In your create your file document where I put the buyer's name in there, you could also have put it is a company, and then it would ask for the company name in the signature.
So that's really right up front. And then another
Right up
question
front.
is when we use the text field, can we change the font and font size?
I do not believe so, but let's test it. We'll go up there and create a text field. Oh, where's it? Right there. No. But it will adjust it to the size that you specify. So let's say I go in here and I say, do you see how it adjusts? And then as you increase this, it adjusts automatically. Is that helpful?
So it's really, then it's just filling in to fit the text box.
Yeah, it's just adjusting the text box and filling it in accordingly.
So they're looking more specific to the PA under our other or additional conditions, I'm guessing that would be.
I'm gonna get there. Okay. So here,
I think that's the spot.
so just so you know, you can make this the entire width and just write in a paragraph form. It automatically starts to, you could do line by line also. But again, it'll just adjust until.
Yeah, so you can adjust the text size basically by doing a drag in regards to the size of the text box.
Correct. Yep. See? Does that make sense? Does that
I think
answer
that's going to answer the question.
the question?
Okay, but where,
Is there another question?
yeah,
Here's another one. Can the buyer's agent sign while composing the documents, or do they need to forward the docs to buyers again?
Well, let me finish this out. We'll just say we're gonna send this for signatures, okay? So you're gonna get, you can customize your message to your client here. You can use the enhanced AI to create a message for you. And then when you click when you click send for signatures, it's going to take you right here. Now it's sent off the request to your email and to your client's email at this point. You can sign right from here, right now, or you can go into your email. And I do want to, I do want to point something out. This is a good thing to know, you guys. Boy, internet is a struggle today.
Stacy, while you're waiting for that,
Mhm.
can you sign for your clients with their permission? Remind
I
loud.
don't
to do
ever,
that.
I do not
Never.
ever recommend that.
Never, ever, ever, never, 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 ever, ever, never.
That is just asking for a lawsuit. I mean, one, there'll be a digital record of you signing for them, and so there's no ever, you'll never be able to deny that, but also that is a bad practice.
Even if they give you permission through
Even
in
if they
writing.
give you permission, even if they give you permission in writing.
Okay.
I have a question if I could.
Sure.
Before you send for signatures, it gives you an option to save and exit.
Mhm.
Like I filled out a listing documents yesterday, wasn't completed, but I wanted to print out a hard copy of what I prepared.
Yes.
How do you, I couldn't find how I could print that out. This is before sending for signatures.
Yeah. And just a second here. Like I said, email, or I mean, the Wi-Fi might be a little. Okay, so this is your file, and now you can download it or print it. So that's my
Yeah, this
envelope.
you've already sent it for signatures.
But
I want to do.
I sent it for signatures. It hasn't been signed yet. But if you had just saved and exited versus gone through to send, you can open it up and download it or print it.
So after I save it,
Yeah, you want to save
I-
it. You want to save all the changes that you made.
so I'm not clear. I can go ahead and print from that.
Well, again, so if I had, instead of sending it,
Right.
um,
If you just save and exit, and then I want to print a hard copy of that.
yep, so I'm saved and exited right here. I don't even know why it let me do that, but let's thank the heavenly stars that it worked out that way. This is what you would come back to. This is it's called an envelope. So
Right.
all of your signed documents are in an envelope to send. You can download the envelope, or you can print the envelope.
Oh, okay. I did not see that.
Yeah, those
Very
three
good.
little dots.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And
Or
Stacy, are
you
you
can
going
just
to
click
cover
print.
clauses?
No. I did not do it while we were in there. Sorry.
Well, where,
So
where did you
we'll just
find
make
it?
sure that we get that on a future session.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna let me go back to editing. See, that's your envelope, but once your documents are signed and completed, they'll be in your signed documents file, which if I go back to here, you guys, I want to note that, like, so I did a practice session. So what's happening is my DigiSign requests are nesting themselves in the same email. So just be aware that when you send clients, because I know sometimes like you'll have a client that, you know, you send a second signature request to and they say they didn't get it. It's just nested in those, in that same email thread, I guess you'd want to say, or chain. And same thing if you by chance use, which you probably shouldn't, but sometimes there's no option other than to use the same email for a couple. And you send signatures to, let's say, husband, and then you send signature request to wife in that email, they will also nest themselves if you send them to the same email address. In this case, I'm going through, this is what the seller will see, or excuse me, the buyer will see, or the seller if you're sending listing documents. So they'll just click through, they'll have to agree, and then they'll start, and every, it'll ask them how they want to sign. And then don't want to do that. I'm going to do this so you can see how easy it is to upload the documents.
Stacy,
Yeah,
in Remind, I remember you could send to the same email address, but if you put a period at some point in the email identifier, that it would look like it was different to Remind.
I'm not, a period in the email identifier. I'm not sure I
So,
understand.
so you have your email was Stacy dot and your last name. If you didn't have a period in your name, you could put a period in that and it would look as two different emails, even though it's the same.
But it would be two different emails. It wouldn't go to the correct email.
And Stacy, can I add that we don't want to send for two different signatures to the same email? We want two distinct separate emails.
Well,
We do.
that's fine and dandy, but if you have seniors who only have one.
Sometimes that's not an option. And my understanding, I did do a little bit of research on that. DigiSign, as far as signing certificates, can tell the difference between, obviously, that there's two different requests that went out and to two different names. It can't obviously differentiate, but the certificates are different. Now, you never know who signed that, but for that matter, you don't know when we send via email. We could send it to, you know, any email that they give us, right? They're just attesting that they provided that email.
I've got a question, Stacy.
Mm-hmm.
When I sent a document to the homeowner the other day, and one of the documents had to do with authorization for mortgage info. And I thought I had prepared it by in the field, for instance, where the Social Security should have been. I got the pencil and I kind of made that field available, but it came back without having either the signature or the Social Security number in those fields.
Because you have to specify in there that it is a required field. It gives you the option.
Okay, so even though I prepped it or thought I did for him to be
Right,
able
you have to go in your box over to the left where you're, you know, specifying to be filled, or whether it's read only. You don't want it.
Okay.
You don't want it to be read only. You want it to be fillable, and then you can also specify whether it must be filled or it's optional.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Stacy,
problem.
quick question, and maybe you already covered this, but when you send to the buyers to sign and you went ahead and send it, and let's say they accept and they're halfway through the document and they see something that needs to be changed.
Yes.
So they
Just
don't want to
like-
continue signing. Go Go ahead.
they can exit. They can exit from the signing without putting in, I mean, they could have done the whole document and signed it. If they don't click the finish signing button, it won't complete the signing. So you will not see it over in your forms as a signed document.
So then I can go back in, make the change and resend it.
Yes, you'd have to go amend it.
Okay.
We're hoping that, sorry guys, the internet, like I said, is just, once you're, oops, trying to click my, there we go. Oh, no, we're not gonna do that. Once they're signed completely, they will show up here. I do need them to. I've got spinning circles. Let's make sure.
Hey, while you're waiting, can I make a comment to everybody? On the Remind download stuff, I called Real Comp this morning and last week because they were having a bunch of problems with people downloading their transactions and not having it complete. And that happened to me. And they said there's a huge glitch and we're supposed to be waiting and they're going to fix it and then let us know when you can download them again. FYI.
In Remind?
In Remind, we're supposed to take all our transactions and download them to an external device of some sort. Well, a lot of people are having
I
issues.
received the notice,
putting it-
yes.
So they have a glitch in the system and they're going to let us know when it's fixed so that you can download all your transactions out of there.
Thank you for that piece of information. That's good to know. Okay, so you guys, once your documents are signed, you'll find all of your signed documents in the signed documents page. You can give your file details once it's accepted. We're just gonna throw out some fictitious dates here. All right. Now, again, just so you guys are aware, the forms, DigiSign, and then actual SkySlope apps are all independent of one another. So it's not like your forms are in SkySlope until you bring them into SkySlope. So we're going to go back to SkySlope to create that transaction that's going to go to the front desk and your manager for review. I'm just wondering if just wondering what it looks like on the agent side. So I apologize. I can't do that because I created that transaction in my own just so we could walk through this. I, on the other hand, go to manage. You're going to go to create transaction however you get there from the agent side. And when you go into create a transaction, you're going to get that same question kind of that you got before. I'm under contract at this point. And it's going to ask me if I want to use one of the files that I have stored in my DigiSign. So I'm going to say this is the transaction that I just created, had signed, got accepted. Yay. So we're going to say Stacy. I do sales out of the Port Huron office. So for right now, we're going to say sales out of the Port Huron office. It's already got my MLS number in there. The file ID, we don't identify any differently than the MLS number and the address. So for many of you, you won't see this many options because of my admin status. I have more options than most people, but for this transaction, I just have the buyer and I want to create a pending. So I'm using CB residential pending sale, and I only have the buy side. A lot of optional fields there that you don't have to fill out, just an FYI. I'm going to click continue. It's going to give me the price that I put in under the details in DigiSign. You don't have to worry about escrow. We're not creating escrow or title through SkySlope at this point. That identifies my buyer, the sellers, if they had a company name. You guys, this looks exactly like when you're started your file. You could put in a company, but we're just gonna put, I like that name, apparently. If it is a trust or a company, this is another place. If the seller is, you will notify everyone that it is a trust company or entity. And just click, by the way, just so you know, it takes off that, a couple of those options when you do that. Continue. It's going to walk us through those tabs at the top. Sure. So I've specified it's not going to do anything with that information. I'm going to say no at this point, but if you do say yes, you're going to enter that information. I'm just not going to enter that, take the time to enter that information for you guys. Continue. We're going to go to commissions. So this is where you're going to specify your sale commission. Oh, I like that. You also can specify the listing side commission if you know, but that's probably not what you're going to do. Any additional deductions would be noted here. So if you were paying for a home warranty or a compliance fee, you could note that there. Then the front or back office knows. If we're holding the earnest money, we're going to specify here. I don't know why it's not letting me put. There we go. I don't know if it'll let me do that with a date that's in advance, but we'll see. And then, so now we're creating the transaction. All right, this takes you directly to your checklist, you guys. Now, if any of you have worked in SkySlope, you may have brought your files over from Remine or Transaction Desk and split them to upload them to your checklist. This is the lovely thing about having your documents already in the SkySlope DigiSigner forms, because every time I go to attach a file, it's going to take me to a list of documents that I specified from that transaction. So I can just assign the buyer, or did I assign the broker requirements? I can attach and sign. I don't even know what I think that said PA. I'm not paying attention. So I'm going to assign that. And as I go through and assign these documents, you guys, they're not going to be available to click on you'll see them disappear from our list of documents that we had signed. So just
What's that mean, assign? What are you doing?
I'm assigning it to the checklist. So you see how we have an attachment here? You're going to be able to go in, look at those documents, but more importantly, your front desk and your manager are going to click through these to verify that everything's filled out correctly. They'll send you a little note if they need any adjustments or corrections. But this is how you're sharing your file, quote unquote, with the office. And so first glance, you know, when you turned in a file previously, you may have emailed it or you may have set a file down on your front office, your admin's desk. This is simply doing it digitally. So now you're attaching and specifying exactly what those documents are based on. I don't even know what that was that I clicked on.
Stacy, where did you go to get to this where you're attaching the file? What
So
tab did you click on?
So once you created that transaction, it took you directly to your checklist. Now,
And that's
just-
once everything is signed, it takes me to the checklist.
this is where you assign all your documents. So, see, I don't, let me. So when you guys are in your dashboard, you're going to be able to view your transactions. I don't know if, I don't know that Crystal has any transactions in here. She doesn't, so I don't have the ability, except for that.
Yes,
When you-
yes, I do. Look at, there's 100
Oh,
Armada
I'm
Ridge.
sorry. Thank you. Okay, so this is one of Crystal's transactions. So it clicks right through to this page. So this is like opening up your file folder for that address or transaction. So if you click on these headers, they're all going to give you like information. You can change, you know, information as needed. All of that is editable. It's going to have your contact information. So in this case, your transaction is this a buy side or a sell side? This is a list side, right? Crystal?
Yes, that's the list side.
Okay. So
If you
it's
look
gonna-
right there under type, it says listing,
yeah,
right in the header there.
if you
Under,
see, it says pending there. But, oh. All right, so you have the ability to adjust all of this throughout the transaction, but what you're doing from creating that transaction immediately, like the first thing it's going to take you through to after you've filled out that information is your checklist, so that you can attach any documents that you need. I did not have an addendum, so.
No, I think
Oh, that's
the
that's
best way to
Crystal's.
learn it
That's
is
fine.
gonna be just to mess around with it.
Yeah.
So if you had Brenda, can you mute Brenda?
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So if I have a document here that says required, it means that I must provide that document to complete the file. And when we say complete the file, that means that the document's uploaded, it has been approved by your manager and can move to the next step, which for all practical purposes, since this is a pending, once they're all the required documents are uploaded, it's going to go to pre-closing, which is your pre-settlement statements. Your pre-settlement statements is that package that you get from the title company 1 to 3 days prior to closing, and your manager reviews to make sure there are no corrections or mistakes that we need to address prior to closing. And then once it has closed out and you hand over that file to your front desk admin, they're going to upload your closing package to go to the closing department along with a copy of your commission checks. And those are, the steps for your managers. Just so you know, this is what you're helping out with, in addition to being able to have access to these documents forever. You can always go into archives to access your files. They will always be available to you. So if you're an agent that perhaps sends out your closing statements at the beginning of the year as a convenience and a connection with your client from the previous year, you're going to be able to go in here, print or download the document to send to them so that they have access to it for taxes that year. That's just an example. You'll always have access to those documents. So once you've uploaded all of your required documents, you guys, and it's been checked by your manager, if you do not have any corrections or anything, you'll have all clear. It'll all be green here as far as your documents when you look at them. Right now they're red because they haven't been reviewed. Does that make sense? Any questions, you guys?
Stacy, can
Darn.
you hear me?
Yep, sure can.
So I kind of, how do you send the documents to the administration to get paid your commission? So they can look at all your documents?
So that's the lovely thing. You're not sending anything, you're uploading them here, just like I was just showing you. You attach documents. So you're gonna go in and attach. If you wrote that deal up in forms and then DigiSign, just writing an offer, you're gonna find all of your documents there that you can assign to your requirements, your required documents. And then you might even have some stuff, you guys, that is not required, but it is applicable. So a condominium addendum, if I had a condo and I had a condominium addendum to attach, just because it says if applicable does not mean that you don't have to attach the condominium addendum. Your manager will ask for the condominium addendum, and then you'll have to go in and attach the file. That's all you're doing is attaching the file. And then the front desk is notified and your manager is notified that you have uploaded documents, and they go in and check them. You don't have to do a thing.
Yeah. So when I upload the documents, do I email them to my office?
No, that's what I'm saying. This is where your responsibility ends. You have attached the documents in your checklist. And when you're doing that, it's automatically notifying your front desk and your manager that documents have been uploaded.
Okay, so how do
So
I
they
get
all
to this
have
page?
access to that.
Absolutely. Everybody has access to this. Yep.
How do I get to this page? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Well, like I said, it automatically took, if you did the transaction from start to finish through DigiSign, you're gonna automatically pop in here when you have an accepted offer. Okay, you go in to DigiSign, you've sent them their, bottom line signature, everything's in there. You go into the file info and you put in the purchase price and everything. And then that's all been done. You go into create a transaction on your,
They're gonna get it ready, you're gonna get the card.
trying to get that to move up. There we go. Sorry, we're spinning again, you guys.
I am at the hospital.
Okay, you guys, as an agent, this is what your dashboard looks like, right?
All of the
Yep.
questions now, question mark.
When you go into, when you've had all your documents signed in DigiSign, you're going to go into create a new and you're going to click transaction. And when you do that, it's going to start walking you through just what I walked you through on my page. I can't do it here because that file resides in my SkySlope, not Crystal's. I'm showing you what the agents see though. So again, go back to the dashboard, always by clicking HRC Realty. And you're going to create a new transaction. And then you're gonna, when you fill in the information, then it walks you through, like literally you'll get a next box, a next box, a next box. And then it'll say, do you want to use this transaction that you had created in your forms in DigiSign? And then once you say yes, you click on the address that you had created, it's going to take you directly to this checklist.
Gotcha.
Okay, and this is where you're going to attach all of your required documents and maybe some extras. And I mean, literally as you're attaching the files, it's notifying the front desk and the your manager that you have uploaded documents for review. So like in this case, what you're seeing, there's a couple of extra buttons that you won't see on yours. Like I have add new, you don't have add new. You don't have these documents because this is what your manager sees. So when they approve a file or a document, or they have an issue with a document, they need something, they can just shoot you a quick email saying, hey, Steve, I see you have another pending. Congratulations. I've reviewed your documents. We just have, an initial that was missed on page 4 of the purchase agreement. And then hence,
He's perfect, period.
when you come back in, that you need to attach a revised purchase agreement. If you send it for signatures, it will be in a DigiSign file, so you can pull it from there. Or you can just attach a file like when you see by uploading it directly. But if you used it in DigiSign, it'll be down here. Does that make sense? You have 2 options.
Yeah, I'm where you are now, so I know what I just wanted to know how so basically there's no more document, there's not going to be any more papers. It's going to be all electronically.
With God willing, it is going to be all electronic. It would, I mean, only makes sense that you know your audience though, so you might have an instance where you sit down with a client and you write up a purchase agreement, literally, in the package. And then you're going to, in that case, scan that document in, as we've reviewed in previous trainings. You can go into your documents, upload the document, and if it's multiple documents, you can upload it as one, and then you can split those documents in this header, under this header, which is the documents header.
Under the contacts, under transactions, it says escrow, title, and attorney.
You
don't
Yep.
select.
You don't have to select anything there.
Okay, but it won't let me continue though, unless I select one.
If you did that, it's because you said you wanted to open escrow and you just want to do the transaction. You're doing it from not through DigiSign at that point, I assume.
Okay.
Correct? You
I
just
believe-
Deanna at Clarkson said type TBD, TBD, and TBD at email.com.
Okay. Are you?
Hey, Stacy, this is Steve
Yep.
over at Shelby. Let's say you do an addendum and
Mhm.
you send it over to the other agent, they sign it, they email it back to you. I just did this and it was so easy. I just forwarded it to that email for the transaction. It went right into documents.
Yep, that's the other option
Yeah,
that you
that
have,
was
you
super
guys. You can just email it to this, like you get a document in, an additional document that you didn't do through DigiSign. Again, you're gonna go to documents. You can either upload it directly or you can send it directly by using the email address that's in your transaction. And once you email it to that, it's gonna show up in this list, probably right at the bottom.
Stacy, Darwin had to step away for a minute. So I have
Okay.
a couple of questions in the chat.
Sure, thank you.
One is, can the email docs, can you email the docs to the lender and title right from the digit sign?
From DigiSign?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, you can, just so you know, if you want a record, I mean, the lovely thing about this program is everything can be done either in SkySlope or DigiSign. When you are in, I think, well, I should go back to, yep. So this is what the agents see. You can go back into DigiSign. If it, although if it doesn't need it, anyway, you can do any document in DigiSign that requires a signature, or you can send the documents from. I'm gonna. Poor Crystal. Oh, well, where's my? It's not letting me do that from here. Oh, because it's not completed. That's why. If you have a completed envelope, you can go and just send the documents directly from there. Like I showed earlier, the gentleman asked if he could print or email the documents. He can print or email directly from the envelope, usually.
Another question that was in the chat says, Stephen Scott asked, has anyone ran into the EMD section that you could not put in where it was deposited? An agent of ours said it was populated, the EMD amount in there, and she couldn't edit it to say C21.
I have not, but we can get answers to that. Amanda, are you still here? I'm pretty sure Amanda was on. She was taking notes for anything that, any glitches or anything that I'm just wanting to know where she can you specify, whoever has that question, can you specify where?
Sorry, I was on the phone with SkySlope. I heard my name, but I heard, that's all I heard.
That's okay. They can't reread the question.
Amanda, it's in the chat. Stephen Scott wrote it.
Okay.
It says, has anyone run into the EMD section that you cannot put in where it was deposited to?
I don't think they're wanting agents to do the where that part where it's getting deposited.
So just the admins or the managers do it?
I'm trying to get a handle on where it asks, like in what portion.
I think it's on the PA. Sally wrote the question for someone in her office.
Okay.
Like where it says, like you would put Century 21 professionals.
Oh.
It's holding the EM. Yeah. Yeah. It's
What's
not,
it saying?
I don't know if it's one of the glitches or.
It's not letting you edit it.
Yeah.
So it just leaves
writing
it
out
blank?
No, it's
No,
writing out the EMD amount in that space. So I think it's a glitch.
It's just auto-filling from the wrong space, maybe.
I know
Got
what
it.
you're
Okay,
talking
now I
about. I know what
understand.
you're talking about, Sally. Yes, it is doing that. That is one of the glitches that we ran into. It's the mapping of the PA instead of having a blank space to say that it's putting in the amount of the EMD.
Got it.
Instead-
I'll get that sent over to their teams and get it fixed.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
That's it in the chat for us. So
Okay.
thank you so much for your time today, Stacy.
Stacy, I got one more
You guys
question.
found that helpful.
Oh, just kidding.
I got one more question, Stacy.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so I'm getting a hold of this. Okay, so transactions, where it says upload documents, so do we have to download a document to upload it? I mean, obviously we do, right?
Well, if you're gonna upload.
You know how we're trying to attach the documents?
No, you can drag and drop.
You can
Oh, you-
drag and drop, you can upload from a file, or if you have documents directly from DigiSign, you can click on that address or the name of the envelope, I should say, because you might not use address, the name of the envelope, and upload from, or it'll automatically be there actually to click. So you have multiple, and you can email it into documents. All of the above. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, for example, I have a pending transaction right now.
Mhm.
My
It's not-
closing date is April 23rd. How do I can I upload this to SkySlope?
Did you create a transaction yet?
Let's see. It says well, I guess it already automatically downloaded into SkySlope because I see it right here. Click to open. Okay, it's already in here. I see. Okay, cool.
Did your admin put it in?
I guess so, yeah. I'm from the Shelby office.
Yeah, I bet you your admin put it in for you.
He did, yep. All my
So-
documents are in review.
Yeah, so just so you understand, like what you do in SkySlope as far as documentation and entering information, the manager and the admin also see it. So like Steve, you're a manager. Everything that your agents do in SkySlope, you have really access to all of this information right here, including, I can go so far as to showing you the log. So if you want to know how that transaction got into SkySlope, it's going to tell you right here everything that happened. So there's no question like who did what. It is very specific.
How do I go there? How do I get to that?
That's the log underneath.
Oh, okay, I see
Yep.
right there, log, yep.
Yeah, and there's some things, I mean, we're going to get more in depth. These are your tasks. So you could create a task template and this is what we're really going to encourage our agents to do eventually, I'm sure, is create a template for every transaction. So if I have a buy side template created that says, from the date that I uploaded the transaction, within 3 days, I need to update my title commitment, or I need to, transaction date plus 7 days, follow up with my buyer, and all of that could be in here just to keep on task and knowing that everything's been completed and not a step has been missed.
It says Mary.Hipple at CBP, Michigan.
Mary is in our transaction coordinator
Okay.
role. So do you use
Mary was helping Colleen at Shelby.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
Okay.
John. Yep. So Colleen was trying to get all of everyone's files in there to save them some time on the back end. And Mary was gracious enough to jump in and help her.
That was great. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. And then the last tab, Steve, just so you realize, none of this is filled in right now. It's not required that you fill in information on the property, but just know that, again, this will be archived and be available to you forever, as long as you're affiliated with Coldwell Banker Professionals. And that may help, down the line when you are asked to relist this property that you sold 8 years ago, and you've seen 800 properties since then.
Yeah. Stacy, one more question. The split and rename, what is that? I forgot what that was.
The split,
Do we have to do that? I mean, the documents are all here.
are you talking about for commission splits?
Is that
He's
what,
saying the assigning of documents.
I
where it
couldn't hear
says,
you, Travis.
where it says split and rename?
Stacy, he's talking about when you upload a full PDF with all of the documents and you go to split
Oh,
and assign.
oh, split and assign.
Yeah,
Or
split,
rename.
rename.
Yeah, that's if you uploaded a complete file. Let's say you sent it to the email address here, or you just uploaded it directly, and it's a full package. You can split each page and name it one of the required or the additional documents in the checklist. So I might upload a complete file. I did it all in Remind, and or Transaction Desk, and I downloaded the package as a PDF.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and grabbed it or emailed it to myself here. So all my documents are there, but they're not split individually. They must be split individually for your manager to check them. So you're going to go through. I don't have a document here, so I can't.
That's okay. That's all right.
Multiple pages, but you're going to go through and you're going to say, so pages 1 through 5 are the purchase agreement. Pages 6 through 8 are my agency disclosure forms.
Yeah.
Number 9 is my wire fraud. Number 10 is my affiliate.
Yep.
You're going to be able to split them by using that tab.
They showed us that last Tuesday.
Oh, you're talking about split. I see now here you're talking split and rename. You can just rename it, but
Do we
the
have
split-
to do that? We
you
have
do
to
it here if you upload multiple documents. Yes. In one file. If you upload multiple documents in one file, you have to split it to upload it into the checklist.
So you only have to split it if you're using a PDF that's been uploaded into SkySlope. That's the only time you need to split.
With multiple documents. The kicker
Right.
there, if it's multiple documents, yes, you have to split it and name each document or assign it, what the assigned name is, preferably.
Okay, but if all of my documents are within SkySlope, that split process does not have to take place.
This is why I just want, yeah,
Got
if you wrote that offer just like we did, you're not gonna have to split anything.
Okay.
That's okay. Yeah, that
Upload
is-
those documents, just like I said, and you're gonna get rid of them, all of them. When I go back to my checklist. So I still have, seller's disclosure to upload. As I attach them, I'm going back down. I've got the seller's disclosure, assign that. It's going to be gone from my list over in
Real quick, Stacy, one more question from Travis.
Uh-huh.
You did mention on another call that they are AI learning systems. So eventually will it better recognize the files, correct?
That's the way AI is supposed to work. I don't because when you do that split on a document, you can have it AI do the splitting for you. I don't recommend it. I think it's not perfected itself enough that it's completely accurate.
Well, let me just clarify. So with that, it was as you're loading this in and you're going to be doing this pretty consistently throughout your transactions, it eventually starts to learn the systems or the forms that you're using, the consistent layout that's being applied. So eventually it'll be able to start using that knowledge to pre-populate appropriately.
Yeah, it's not there yet.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. If there's no other questions, then thank you so much for your time today. I know I'm not Darwin and I don't have that speaker
I
voice
have
that
one
he
more
has.
question, Stacy. One more question.
Sure.
Under transactions, I'm looking at it says all statuses and get paid now. What if you click that get paid now? I mean, you can't do that until it closes, right?
Well, I wouldn't recommend that. It's going to take you through to a third party, I believe. And that's, like a paycheck in advance.
Yeah, but you can't do that. I mean, obviously, right? Until it closes.
No, I would not recommend doing that.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, Darwin will have this uploaded, I'm sure, sometime today. I hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stacy.
You're welcome.